Hi, students. This week we're going to be talking about goals and motivation. So make sure that you have read chapters 2 and 3 in your Learn 11 e-textbook prior to watching this lecture. This week, it's all about setting yourself up for success in all areas of your life, not just academics. Even though that this is a course for being a successful college student, we're going to talk about setting goals in all areas of your life and the things that are important to you. So, why do we set goals? Maybe we have some short term goals. Maybe we want to tackle a really challenging hike, like pictured here. Um, Maybe we have academic goals. We want to graduate with an AA or transfer to a 4-year university and graduate with a bachelor's degree. And maybe we have career goals. Maybe you've set a goal that you want to be a nurse or an engineer or teacher. Or maybe you have financial goals, and you want to, someday own a house. And so as human beings, we set goals to become better, and that's how we get better. And so we're going to be practicing writing goals this week in all areas of your life so that we can better ourselves, not just in academics, but the other things that are important to you as well. Mhm. So, one of the assignments this week is about setting SMART goals. And SMART stands for specific, meaning it's concrete, it's tangible. We know what it looks like. Okay, it's not vague. Um, M is measurable. We can measure that success. We know what the success looks like when that goal has been achieved. Attainable, something that is challenging um, and can happen with the use of resources, not something that is impossible. I always use the example of, setting the goal to become the president of the United States. And I hate to shatter dreams because, when we're in elementary school, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be president of the United States. Oh, you can do anything. Well, that's not necessarily true because realistically, think about it. In 250 plus years, almost 250 years of our country, we've only had 40 something presidents. What is the likelihood that I'm going to be president of the United States? Very, very slim. And so we have to take those things into consideration. We need things that are going to challenge us, but they're possible for us to attain. And there are going to be some things that are impossible, and that's okay. And so that's why the next one, we have to make them relevant to ourselves. How is it contributing to larger objectives or to some of your long term goals? Be thinking about that, especially this week. And timely. This is so important. Set deadlines for yourself. Write those deadlines down so that you see them. That's incredibly important. Create a timeline so you know the short term goals that you can set for yourself along the way. So let's look at what I mean by being specific. Okay, here are 3 examples for you. Okay, how specific do we need to be? I will get healthy. Okay, that's pretty vague because truly, what does it mean to be healthy? Does it mean eating right? Does it mean exercising? Does it mean a combination of both? Are we talking about physical health or are we talking about mental health? Right? So this is not specific enough. Okay. So you say, okay, I'm gonna get more specific. I'm gonna get healthy by losing weight. Okay, great. We're getting there. Not quite specific enough yet, though, right? Because how much weight do we need to lose to be healthy, right? Because there is unhealthy weight loss. And so we want to make sure that this goal is also attainable, right? And relevant. So more specific would be I will lose 10 pounds, right? That's tangible, that's concrete. You know what that number is and what it might look like. Okay, so as you guys are thinking about setting your goals, um, analyze them. and ask yourself if they are specific enough. And, if they're not, then keep going down the list. See if you can make them more specific. So here are some examples. I'm going to show you some non-examples of SMART goals first. The first one, I want to live a happy life. This is not specific enough. This is not really measurable because what does it mean to live a happy life? That looks different for everyone. And so we need to make it specific and measurable and relevant to us. Okay. So you might say, well, in order to live a happy life, I would like to have a good job in the future. Okay. Okay. So that's something that is measuring success, having a good job. But again, not specific enough because what is a good job? What does that really mean? We have to define that and be concrete with it. And also, it's not very timely. In the future, does that mean next month? Does that mean 5 years from now, 10 years from now? So, this is not a timely goal. I will get a degree from a university in 5 to 10 years. What degree are you going to get? From what university? In 5 to 10 years, I think about myself 5 or 10 years ago, and I'm a very different person, right? So, a lot can happen in 5 or 10 years. And it's okay to set goals for 5 to 10 years, but that's a range. That's a huge range. And so try to avoid writing ranges in your SMART goals. Here are some good examples of SMART goals. First, I will earn a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Cal State Long Beach by May 2025. Okay, we've got something specific. We got a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Okay, and that's how we're going to measure success, graduating, right? Is it attainable? Well, if you're in college, yeah, absolutely, right? Or even if you're not in college yet, if this was someone else who wasn't in college yet, is this attainable? Probably. Okay. And then we have relevant, right? Is this something that you want to pursue in your life? Hopefully, and that's why you wrote this goal. Timely, May 2025, a year from now, year and a half from now. Okay. That sets a deadline, and then you can make a timeline, you can make short-term goals. And so maybe this is something that you guys would consider for your SMART goals. You can use this as a model for you. Okay. Don't copy this exactly, obviously, but make it personal to you. Here's another financial SMART goal. I will purchase a new laptop by depositing $100 every month into my savings account beginning Friday, February 25th until I've saved $500. It's specific. Okay. We know what this person is trying to attain. A laptop. How are they going to do it? Well, they're going to measure that success by having $500 in their bank account. Is it attainable? Hopefully, they have the funds, they have the paycheck to be able to do this, to put that money into savings. Is it relevant? Well, maybe they're taking college classes and they need a laptop in order to complete their assignments. And then timely. Well, we know that this is starting Friday, February 25th, right? And this is going to take us 5 months. So we know when the end date is going to be. Okay, so all of those things meet the SMART goal criteria. So I want you guys to, again, use these as your models as you're writing your academic SMART goals this week. Now let's move on to chapter 3 and talk about staying motivated. Okay, this is the value expectancy theory, and it states that value times expectation equals motivation. Okay, well, what does that mean? Okay, what is your value in the goal that you have created? Okay, what value do you put in that goal? Is it something personal? Is it internal? Is it external? How do you value that? The higher you value it, the more motivated you're going to be. But you have to combine that with expectancy or your expectation of success, right? So go back to those SMART goals and those being attainable, right? How expectant are you that you are going to achieve that goal? Okay, so if you have high value in your goal and you have high expectancy of achieving success in your goal, that means that you are going to be motivated to attain your goal. Because think about it. Sometimes we set goals, especially around the new year, of going to the gym and things like that. You really have to ask yourself, how much do you value that, right? What is your value in getting healthy, right? Maybe maintaining your weight or losing weight, or just feeling better about yourself. Maybe it's for your mental health, right? What is your value in that? And do you expect to succeed? Do you expect to be able to go to the gym 5 nights a week or 5 days a week, whatever that looks like for you? Okay. And so once we start um, losing that expectancy of success, maybe we miss a couple of gym sessions, something like that, our value then maybe decreases, right? We're not as confident that we're going to be able to keep this up, and so then we don't get motivated. I know that I have done this so many times. Probably every new year, right? We run into something like this, and we see this. I live right by a 24-hour fitness. January, man, it is jam-packed there. But February, March, people start to lose motivation. So let's talk about how we can stay motivated with our goals. Okay. We need to connect our long term goals to our core values or our passions, our values, right? That's what that means. And then we need to break our long term goals into midterm and short term tasks, right? Like we were talking about with the SMART goals and creating a timeline. Okay. You got to break it down so that you can have expectancy to succeed. Okay. And you also have to be able to create habits that benefit you because that will give you that expectation that you can do it once you have created a habit. And our chapter 3, talks a lot about this. So, for your discussion board this week, you guys are going to be talking about the habit routine because positive habits equal motivation. Okay, so you guys are going to come up with a habit routine for a goal that you have. So, from the textbook, a cue, right? You start with a cue. This is a trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and prompts the behavior to unfold. Okay, I've previously had a goal in the past that I was not going to scroll on my phone before bed because I know that, it wires my brain and it makes it harder for me to fall asleep. Okay. So my cue, my trigger telling me to do something was that I would have a book on my nightstand. That was my cue. And I would have my charger away from my bed so that I wasn't tempted to plug in my phone and scroll on my phone. And so those were my cues, right, for this goal. And the behavior that I'm going to participate in is reading a book instead of scrolling on my phone, right? So the routine is the behavior itself. What action are you taking, right? I physically have to open up that book in order to do this. And then the reward. That's helping your brain determine if a particular habit loop is worth remembering or not, right? So if I start to sleep better, right? And I know reading is good for me. Reading books is good for me. That's gonna make me more motivated. Once my brain sees that this habit is a reward to me, and I'm gonna continue to do it. I'm gonna have the motivation to continue to do that. Okay, so think about the goals that you have set for yourself with the assignments from this week, and that's what you're going to answer in your discussion. Here are some additional tips for you. Develop several goals for all areas of your life. Don't just develop one financial goal or one personal goal or one academic goal. Develop all sorts of goals. And you guys have a goal setting worksheet to do this week to help you with that. Declare it. Okay. I'm a former swimmer. I swam in college. And one thing that I would always do is I would have goal times that I wanted to achieve. And so I would write those goal times down on an index card and I would tape them up on my bathroom mirror. Um, and that reminded me every single day the goal that I was trying to achieve. And I wrote it down right? And I also didn't want to disappoint myself by not achieving that goal. Okay. And maybe you're not internally motivated, right? But being able to see it, it really does something to your brain that helps you to stay motivated. Okay. Tell someone else, have an accountability partner. Okay. Whoever that is, maybe someone in your family, a sibling, even your dog. Tell your dog. I talk to my dog all the time. So it's okay. Tell your dog your goal. Okay. Tell your partner, your kids, your parents, your grandparents, whoever that is for you, a friend, right? A trusted friend, who could maybe ask you about it later. Okay. And then review it and maybe revise your list, right? Go back to it and see if you need to adjust any of your goals. And there is no shame in that. That's okay. We want our goals to be attainable. And so you may realize, hey, this is impossible. I can't achieve this, right? Revise it so that it is attainable for you and relevant and timely and measurable and specific. Okay. So I want you guys to make sure that you go through all of your worksheets this week, watch the video on the impossible list, and go ahead and participate in your discussion board.